Hello and welcome to Resource PNG. Air travel has become synonymous with Papua New Guinea. Much of the early development in PNG was made possible through the use of air transport. In fact, the very first gold rush in the Wahbulolo area of Morobe province was built on the back of air transport. Since then, the airline industry has become an integral part of PNG life. On November the 1st, 2014, the airline industry welcomed its newest member, Link PNG. Link PNG, a subsidiary of national flag carrier Air Niugini, aims to be the leading domestic airline in PNG, delivering the safest, cost-effective air travel for communities. Link PNG, a subsidiary of national flag carrier Air Niugini, was launched on the 1st of November 2014.
Flight CX809 support mode. The flight is under the command of Captain Simano and First Officer Flight 30.
Resource PNG had the pleasure of sitting down and having a chat with the Chief Executive Officer of Link PNG, Captain Daniel Wanma, to gain an insight into the company's operations as well as its expansion plans. Link PNG, what was the reason behind the establishment of Link PNG?
Link PNG was established after the government decided to privatize Air Niugini. Government being the major shareholder decided that perhaps rather than sell Air Niugini as it is, look at some aspect of it that government could continue to retain and provide service to the population and support industry as well.
As a subsidiary of Air Niugini, what differences are there between how flights operate under Link PNG as opposed to Air Niugini?
Fundamentally, there's no difference. If you notice from our logo, we still carry pretty much the Air Niugini logo. I think the changes have been in the name, but in terms of our sales and our marketing, our exposure to the domestic market has continued from where Air Niugini left off on 1st of November last year. So fundamentally, there is no major changes.
Okay. Well, Link PNG has obviously been set up to add more value to air services in Papua New Guinea. Can we expect Link PNG to branch out to any new destinations and any destinations in particular?
Yes, indeed. One of our objectives has been to try and look at some of the district airports in each of the provinces. Essentially, Air Niugini historically has operated to the main ports, the provincial capital of each province. So for Link, our business model was built on looking at secondary airports in each province. For example, in Western Province, they've been fortunate. They got 3 airports in one province, Daru, Kinga, and Tawuville. Some provinces have 2, others only have the provincial capital. So for example, in East New Britain, we're looking at Jaconet Bay. In West New Britain, Kendrian to the south. Sundown Province, Teleform in the Star Mountains, and Milne Bay, which is our next port, is Losuya Airport in the Trobriand group.
What are the benefits of customers choosing to fly with Link PNG?
Okay, essentially we're looking at our cost base. Historically, Air Niugini has operated as a legacy carrier with high and sometimes different cost base to what a low-cost carrier would be operating at. So we're looking closely at our cost, looking at reducing it as much as we can, and then hopefully passing the savings to the customers in terms of airfare reduction.
All right. Obviously, Link PNG has a close relationship with companies that operate resource projects around the country. The majority of them are located in remote areas. How does Link PNG look to service these routes in a more improved manner?
In terms of the resource sector, we support them currently. We've had a long relationship with Oil Search in Moro. Previously, we've had association with Newcrest out of Lihir. We currently service the Morobe Mining Joint Venture out of Bololo. We also recently serviced Horizon Oil out of Kiunga. Previous to that, we had Talisman, and we're looking at reviving our relationship with Talisman. There are additional potential, for example, in Teleform, with the Anglo-American and Highlands Pacific looking at opening up the operation in that part of the country, and we're hoping with association with the local member, Honourable Solon Mirisin, to see if we can develop Teleform into a staging point, not only for Star Mountain operation, but additionally for Frida Copper as a potential customer in the future.
Obviously, you've got competition. How do you view your competition within the resource sector especially?
Competition is always healthy, keeps us on our foot. We welcome competition. We've had it with Air Niugini over the last 41 years, and we look forward to the competition again with the new developments coming up in this country. So, yeah, I got no issues with competition. It's something that we look forward as a challenge.
All right. Well, how do you find a balance between servicing the general travelling public as opposed to the resource sector?
It's a bit of a balancing act. At the end of the day, we're a government entity. Our main focus is towards the population in the districts. So we'll do our best to serve them. At the same time, where there is opportunity to assist some mining company develop resources within our country, we'll do the same. So it's basically a win-win for both parties, both the local population and the resource developers as well.
All right, 2015 looks to be a big year for Link PNG. What are the major areas that the airline will be focusing on?
For 15, we're focusing heavily on our costs, our cost base. So there's been an ongoing process since our inception on the 1st of November last year. It's an ongoing thing that we're heavily focusing on. We're also looking at new markets. As I previously stated, we're looking at opening a service to Losuya. Shortly thereafter, we're investigating a few others as well. We're thinking that Hayfield in Maprik is potentially a new market for us. So in terms of growing our business, consolidating on what we currently have as well.
Okay. Do you see any impediments to your operations at this point in time?
I think it's a common understanding that doing business in Papua New Guinea is challenging. We are aware of those challenges. There are various factors, infrastructure being one of them. I guess with the current O'Neill Dion government, there's a lot of emphasis on infrastructure, so we're hoping in that space where the rural airports are developed to cater for larger aircraft like the ones we operate. But there is also consideration of looking at slightly smaller aircraft where we can actually go to the smaller airports and some of the remote part of the country to develop and assist with the education system, service delivery and the health sector and perhaps the SME as well.
Okay. Any last words for our viewers that you'd like to convey?
Well, we'd like to thank the customers for the continued patronage. Although we've become a subsidiary of Air Niugini, we continue to carry that 41-year history of safe operation in this country, and we hope to do so for the next 40 plus years. And we welcome our customers from Air Niugini moving across to Link, and we hope to service a lot more part of the country and open it up to the rest of the world as well.
You're watching Resource PNG. After the break, we speak with PanAust, the operators of the Frida River Copper Gold Project. Welcome back to Resource PNG. The Frida River Copper Gold Project is set to be the next big mining project in Papua New Guinea. In August 2014, PanAust announced the acquisition of an 80% interest in the Frieda River Copper Gold Project. The remaining 20% of the project is held by the company's joint venture partner, Highlands Pacific. Recently, a high-level delegation from PanAust was in the country to visit the Frida River Project site, as well as meet with government officials to provide an update on the development of the Frida River Project. PanAust, an Australian-based gold and copper producer, has entered the Papua New Guinea mineral sector with its acquisition of the Frida River Copper Gold Project. PanAust Managing Director and CEO, Fred River, was in the country, together with members of the company's board of directors, to meet with government officials, as well as to tour the Frida River site to get a first-hand look at the operations of the project. Resource PNG had the opportunity to sit down with Mr. Hess to find out more about the company and its operations here in PNG.
PanAust started production in Laos some 9 years ago as an explorer who became a producer. And they developed a copper-gold project first, and then later developed a gold and silver project. And Laos is a country that has very many similarities to Papua New Guinea in terms of the level of development, the size of the population, and also, let me say, the support for mining.
The decision by PanAust to enter the PNG mineral market is on the back of increasing confidence in the ability of the country to withstand the current global drop in metal prices.
Well, for us, Frida River is our future. We have existing assets, but they have a limited life and they'll finish within the next 10 years. But Frida is an asset that has, on the basis of the starter project that we're looking at, the potential for at least a 20-year mine life. And even with that 20 years, we've only tapped less than 20% of the total mineral resource that's been discovered there. So we think Frida is the future for our company.
As in all other resource projects in the country, the benefits to landowners are something that PanAust have factored into their plans. According to Mr. Hess, given that this is the first such project in the Sepik region, the Frida River Copper Gold project will ensure that the people within the immediate and surrounding areas benefit from activities from the mine, both directly and indirectly.
It's going to be a mine that's the first one in Sandown province. We're going to be, logistics are going to happen through East Sepik province, so there are going to be big changes for the community. There are big changes in terms of the economic benefits that the mine will bring. There are big changes in the opportunities for people to basically learn new skills, develop businesses. There are many opportunities for people much more broadly in terms of the rest of the population in Papua New Guinea, because it will be such a large project. The construction period will probably run for at least 3 years, ahead of that 20-year mine life that we see.
With feasibility studies on target for completion by the end of 2015, it is exciting times ahead for PanAust as they look forward to nurturing their first investment in PNG. The national government is also looking to ensure that the Frida River Copper Gold project is a success, as explained by Treasury Minister Patrick Proich.
PanAust's decision to advance the project comes on the back of its recent announcement of the revised feasibility study base case concept last year for the project and its recent acquisition from Glencore Xstrata. I'm hopeful that your visit would have provided an opportunity for you to appreciate the challenges of delivering the most basic of services by the national government as well as both Sepik provincial governments. With scarce resources and equally important the challenges for Papua New Guinea's latest corporate partner, PanAust, to develop a world-class project at Frida River. The government of our country, including the impacted provinces of East and West Sepik, are hopeful that PanAust will bring the lessons and experiences gained from its projects to inform its delivery and operation of Frida River Project. At the same time, the government will use its recent experiences, including the delivery of PNG LNG project, to support the transaction of the Frida River Project. In doing so, the government is clear about its obligation to the people of our country, and in particular the isolated communities along the Frida and Nena rivers. The government undertakes to use its best endeavors to facilitate the development of this vast and untapped resource for the benefit of PanAust, Highlands Pacific, the government and people of our country.
With all these positive sentiments being expressed by parties involved in the project, the future looks certainly bright for the Frida River Copper Gold project. You're watching Resource PNG. After the break, we speak with Indorama, a multinational company looking to expand its operations into Papua New Guinea. Welcome back. Indorama Corporation is a leading organization that manufactures a multitude of industrial products including polyethylene, polypropylene, fabrics, medical gloves and fertilizers. Recently, officials from Indorama visited the country to meet with government officials on the possibility of expanding their operations into Papua New Guinea. The visit was facilitated by the World Bank through the International Finance Corporation, IFC. Given recent developments within the mining, petroleum and energy sector, Papua New Guinea is increasingly becoming a destination of choice for businesses looking to expand their operations. And given PNG's entry into the select group of oil and gas exporting nations, Indorama Corporation has set its sights on expanding its operations into PNG. Indorama Head of Business Development, Arun Taneja, was in the country recently on a fact-finding mission to gauge the possibility of Indorama establishing itself here. And he took time off from his busy schedule to speak with Resource PNG. He began by providing an overview of Indorama.
Well, Indorama is a 40-year-old company. We started in Indonesia in 1975. We are today the world's largest producer of polyester. We are also the world's largest producer of PET resin, which is the raw material for making plastic bottles. We are also a very big player in the petrochemical space. We have 4 PTA plants. PTA is the raw material which is required to produce polyester. We also have an MEG plant in the United States. That's also the other raw material required for producing polyester. We have a polyethylene and polypropylene plant in Nigeria with a gas cracker, which we took from the government of Nigeria in 2006. And we have manufacturing plants all over the world. We are in 53 different sites in 23 countries.
The decision by Indorama to possibly expand its operations into PNG is a decision that the company has taken without hesitation. According to Mr. Taneja, PNG is an ideal investment as the country joins the select group of LNG exporting nations. To complement this, Indorama is hoping to promote downstream processing, making use of the gas, which is currently being developed from existing gas fields.
The goods have to be sent out to distant places, probably the nearest source being Japan, absorbing the finished product. So we could set up a fertilizer industry here, or we could set up a polyethylene or monoethylene glycol. It depends on what kind of gas is available and how much quantity is available. And again, it also would depend very largely on the government's determination to pass the necessary legislation to get the commitment for domestic gas reservation policy, or whatever the government may wish to call it.
Indorama Corporation's move to expand into PNG is being supported by the World Bank through the International Finance Corporation, or IFC. The company has had a long association with IFC, with their strategic partnership dating back to the late 1980s. This partnership has enabled Indorama to expand its operations to 53 sites in 23 countries.
With IFC, we've tried hard in the last 4 years to invest locally, to really demonstrate to Papua New Guinea and Papua New Guineans that we will take risks and invest locally. So we completed our first investment in a landowner company with National Catering Service, NCS. And we've also, of course, you know that we own 10% of Bank South Pacific. So among our other investments locally, we've really tried to demonstrate that we're not just here to facilitate Western companies coming to Papua New Guinea. This visit by Indorama is very special. After 4.5 years here, this marks the first time that we've brought a very, very large company to PNG. In part, that's because it's not always easy to find those companies who have the same values as we do when it comes to the development of an industry. I mean, these are Indorama coming to Papua New Guinea with the clear knowledge that they would be pioneers in the industry. So it takes a special company, it takes a very large company, but in addition to that, it takes a company that really knows how to do business in new and emerging markets. Their experience in Nigeria, I think, is a very good one in terms of understanding what it takes to go from the grassroots and really build a very profitable but importantly partly employee-owned business. And I think that this is the type of business model that could really appeal to Papua New Guineans, that you feel that it's not just big equity holders like IFC or Indorama who get to produce wealth, but also the workers. And I think that this isn't certain that this would be the track for PNG, but it's certainly very encouraging. So is it big news to us? Yes. Will it be transformational for Papua New Guinea? Absolutely. If we could encourage a company of the ilk of Indorama to set up shop here in PNG, it would be really quite special. Really.
The decision by Indorama once again demonstrates the level of confidence that multinational companies have in PNG. And this augurs well for the future of the economy of the country. And that's all we have time for on this edition of Resource PNG. If you want to know more about the program, please email us. Our address, resourcepng@mtv.com.pg. You can also view this edition online by going to www.mtv.com.pg, where you will find a link to the Resource PNG page. Until the next time, I'm Meribatulo, and this has been Resource PNG.